George Michael, the hidden truths about his sex life and drug battles. I never had a moral problem with being gay. I thought I had fallen in love with a woman a couple of times. Then I fell in love with a man and realized that none of those things had been love. George Michael, one of the most iconic pop singers, songwriters, and philanthropists of his time, was the best-selling musician. Selling over 125 million records throughout his career, he made a place among the Billboard's greatest 100 artists of all time. For 20 years, he remained the most played British singer as reported by Radio Academy and has won several distinguished awards. In short, he was a shining star among stars, but there was another factor which added to his distinguished persona, his sexuality and drug addiction. Known to the world as Yog, the megastar indulged in several activities which always kept him in the spotlight. One way or another, his enigmatic persona added to his bold conduct and sexuality, made his personality a maze to understand. Despite a challenging crunch in his private life, he made it possible to be included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Michael made it clear to everyone that sexuality, taboos, and addictions could not hinder his way to success and fame. The singer became famous after releasing his duo Wham! With Andrew Ridgeley in 1981. It was the peak of the young artist's career when he released his super hits one after another. Sharing his struggles with the BBC show Desert Island Discs, Michael mentioned that his interest in music followed an injury to his head. The concept that music has no borders would rightly fit with Michael. His first duo, Wham! With his partner Andrew Ridgeley, was released in 1981 and it proved to be a harbinger of success for Michael. In 1985, Wham! Again became the headline when the singer sang it during his famous China tour. So, why was the China tour so widely hyped? It was the first tour by any famous Western singer to China, as many types of music were forbidden in the country before this. It was Michael's Wham! That made its way to China. The song received worldwide coverage, and newspapers ran the headline, "East meets Wham! Another Great Wall comes down." The news embarked on this tour. No one had ever seen anything like that. All the young people were amazed, and everybody was tapping their feet. Of course, the police weren't happy, and they were scared there would be riots. So, we have just taken a glimpse of the bright side of the megastar, but the coin has two sides, and every blessing comes with a bad in disguise. So, here comes the other side of George Michael's extravagant life, the controversies and troubles that were always a guest at Michael's door. From his drug addiction to his bedroom life and legal troubles to his hospital visits, each and everything made him the center of attention of paparazzi and media reporters. The Freedom 90 star's personal life was a roller coaster of demolishing taboos and igniting controversies. His audacity made him admit on several occasions that he had an affinity for men since his younger age. My early fantasies were about women, which led me to believe I was on the path to heterosexuality. But in adulthood, I started to fantasize about men, and it had something to do with my environment. Michael first shared the shocking fact about his sexuality with Andrew Ridgeley and also told two of his sisters with the advice not to share with their parents. In 1998, Michael admitted to Parkinson that he fell in love with a man and became audacious that he was gay. Falling in love with a man that ended the conflict over bisexuality. I never had a moral problem with being gay. I thought I had fallen in love with a woman several times. Then I fell in love with a man and realized that none of those things had been love, Michael shared in an interview with The Advocate. Further, in 2004, Michael confessed that he used to have physical relations with the women when the Wham! Was at its peak. But deep inside, I had a feeling that it would not develop into an emotional relationship. He further added that he never wanted to use women, as he was not in the position to commit or initiate a relationship. Michael also shared that, "I decided I had to stop, which I did when I began to worry about AIDS, which was becoming prevalent in Britain. Although I had always had safe sex, I didn't want to sleep with a woman without telling her I was bisexual. I felt that that would be irresponsible. I didn't want to have that uncomfortable conversation that might ruin the moment. so I stopped sleeping with them. Michael conversed in interviews that he had an attraction to women, but was never able to develop feelings for them, a fact which was punching him in every pseudo-love adventure. In the 1980s, Michaels had a relationship with the makeup artist catchy, which Michael called his only bona fide girlfriend, who was aware of his bisexuality. The string of relationships was terminated, but Jiang always had a soft corner for Michael. Later, Michael had a romantic relationship with a Brazilian dress designer, Anselmo Fleppa, with whom Michael had spent an unforgettable 6 months. But the bud of their relationship could not fully bloom when an astonishing discovery kept them feet apart. Fleppa turned out to be HIV positive. The news tore Michael apart, and he later said, "It was terrifying news. I thought I could have the disease too. I couldn't go through with it with my family because I didn't know how to share it with them. They didn't even know I was gay." Eventually, in 1991, Fleppa died of AIDS, and in his remembrance, Michael released Jesus to a Child and constantly mentioned that the song was made for him. In 2008, Michael declared that he thought he was cursed as he was mourning the loss of his partner when after 3 years, his mother died, with whom he was very close. Michael somehow composed himself, and in 1996, he again entered into a relationship with Kenny Goss from Texas. It was a long-term bond, and they planned to register the relationship as a civil partnership in the UK. Michael's sexuality once again sparked controversies, and he postponed his plans for marriage registration. In 1998, the star acknowledged all the controversies regarding his sexuality and confirmed that he was gay. He also became an active LGBT campaigner and fought legal battles to get rights for the cause. Again, due to unknown circumstances, Michael could not continue the relationship with Goss, and both broke up in 2009. After failing in several relationships, in 2012, the strings of the singer's heart harmonized with Fadi Fawaz, a Lebanese-Australian artist who worked as a celebrity hairstylist and photographer. Michael was involved in massive drug abuse, which included addiction to controlled substances and drugs. He used to smoke potent skunk marijuana from dawn to dusk and was also taking industrial quantities of GHB, also known as a date rape drug, along with smoking crystal meth and crack cocaine. In the biography George Michael, A Life by James Gavin, it is disclosed that the pop star had drug addiction since his childhood, mainly due to his inner turmoil about his sexuality. In 1998, it was the time Michael entered the legal battlefield. In California, Michael was accused of lewd acts in the public restroom. During a sting operation, he was arrested by an undercover policeman, Marcelo Rodriguez, who arrested him for such an inappropriate act. Michael did not plead guilty. Hence, he was fined $810 and given 80 hours of community service. Following the incident, Michael, in a vengeful way, made a single record, Outside, in which he ridiculed a policeman who was found kissing in a public toilet. Rodriguez again became the news center when he sued the megastar in 1999 for a defamation case and brought a $10 million court case in California. In July 2006, Michael became the talk of the town when he was found engaged in public sex in Hampstead Heath, London. In the same year, the singer, aka Yog, was arrested for the illegal possession of Class C drugs. The star later admitted in an interview that it was his stupid fault, as always. The police cautioned him and then set him free. The controversies kept chasing him, and he once again became a news debate in 2007 when he was arrested for drug-impaired driving. The court penalized him and suspended his driving license and community service for 2 years. His non-abiding behavior did not stop there, as in 2008 he was arrested for possession of controlled substances, including Class A and Class C drugs. The bird of controversy again sat on his wall when in 2010 he crashed his car in Hampstead while returning from a gay pride parade. He was declared unfit for driving on suspicion of cannabis and other drug abuse. He later admitted at Highbury Corner Magistrate Court that he was under the influence of drugs. The singer was then sentenced to 2 months in prison with a fine and suspension of his driver's license. Michael was found to be suffering from high-degree depression and was addicted to antidepressants and sleeping pills. He was also struggling with substance addiction, and he admitted during a BBC show that his cannabis was a problem and he wanted to get rid of it. The music guru also revealed that he's struggling to reduce its consumption and has already reduced it to 7 to 8 spliffs a day, 3 times less than before. In October 2011, Michael had a viral infection, which was timely countered, but in November, he once again suffered health issues. The music star was admitted to the hospital when he had chest pain before his performance in Vienna. After a good improvement in his health, his condition worsened after 4 days, leading to the cancellation of his performances. It was later discovered that he suffered from pneumonia, fell into a coma, and was shifted to the ICU. After fighting the deadly condition, nature gave him another chance, and Michael recovered after the tracheotomy. The music icon's fate once again punched his health when, in 2013, he survived a head injury when he fell from his moving car. After a strong realization that his drug abuse was the culprit for his weaker body defense mechanism, he joined rehab in 2015 in Switzerland. On Christmas Eve 2016, his partner, Fatty Fawez, visited his room in the morning and found him unresponsive. The early reports declared the star of Careless Whisper dead. The news stunned everybody, including his fans and industry figures. A senior coroner declared that dilated cardiomyopathy and fatty liver was the cause that he took his last breath at the age of 53. The will left more than a $97 million fortune and named his sisters, father, and friends. Surprisingly, his partner Fatty Fawez was not included in the list, and his ex-boyfriend Goss was also exempted from his heirs. The answer is not apparent, but George's partner mentioned that George Michael was unhappy with his life. The biography by Gavin also deduced that the 2013 road accident was a suicide attempt in which Michael threw himself out of a Range Rover. His boyfriend at the time, Fatty Fawez, said, "He wanted to die so badly. I think life stopped for him a long time ago." He also declared that he found George in a swimming pool one day, suffering from hypothermia, and the other day he overdosed on GHB and was found unconscious in his bathtub. Moreover, during his rehab, George tried to stab himself 25 times. Michael's family has denied all these rumors and maintained the stance that the death was natural and was caused mainly by his substance abuse and unhealthy lifestyle. The biography of James Gavin summarized his last days as, "George died a pathetic, lonely, and broken figure. One of the most glamorous men in the music business ended his days as a hermit, binging on junk food and male prostitutes inside his North London mansion." Alright, that's all for this one, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or drop a comment and let us know your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video.